But if the big boss will tell you that you are going to get a huge bonus for that job, I'm telling you, you will turn the world upside down and you will perform everything that needs to get performed till the end of the day. Think about it. We're in this race that is our crazy task-filled life. When do we remember to find time to our family? When do we remember to find time to ourselves? Really? Only when someone, for God forbid, is sick or die. Why do we behave this way? I'll tell you why. Because when there is a goal and destination, we will do everything in order to achieve them. So our challenge is not to be enslaved by the time, but to conduct ourselves as much as possible, given it but the limitation of time. Because after all, time is not a real money. We can put it in a bank. We can accumulate time and save it for later. Yes? If we won't make time to manage and to plan, our time, we won't be able to manage our time properly. So planning our time is critical for time management, for good time management. Let's say that you've decided to make a significant change in your life. I've got a good news for you. You don't need to fly out of space to achieve that. You know, you can start here, right now, with a basic of a task and time management. You know why? Because winning situation is only a matter of a millisecond. In order to win, there is no need for a big gap with enough competitor from the run to stand on the podium and receive a medal. You know your life. You wake up in the morning, wash your face, start your day. The day roll has just begun. Task and more task, and a meeting, and a water cooler talk, and another task. And the chaos is just growing, and the madness is just in front of us. We told ourselves that this is going to be the most productive days, but when we finish it, we felt that we didn't progress at all. We moved, but we didn't move forward. Bad news. Time flies. But you know what? The reins are in your hands. You decided what to do with your version, with your test case, with your day, with your task, with your family. You are the only one who responsible for your time, from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep. And please, don't get confused between movement and progress, because the action doesn't necessarily indicate progress. It's not how much it took me to achieve it. The question is, did I move forward? So how? Time is one of the most difficult resources to measure. We can grow it, we can accumulate it, we can produce it, and we can trade it with something else. You know, many research run around the world. In one of them, they asked the student, what do they plan for the future? Some had no plan. Some had unclear plan, and some of the students had clear written plan. 10 years later, they turned back to those participants and asked them, what are you doing today? And you know, the results were clear, because those who had a plan were far ahead. And you know why? Because we as a people, we are motivated by our plan to reach our goal. The plan is actually the basic that's supporting us reaching through our destination. Sometimes, you hear me without the microphone? Sometimes things seem to be unattainable. Like the will, like pattern, like the Wright brother who invented the plan. Sometimes things to be very hard to get performed until someone came and performed them. And you know what? We all want to grow. We all have ambition. The only problem is that no one taught us how to manage with them. So we will feel ourselves in the corner without enough time to complete our daily task, or with the insight that this is me, and this is who I am, and these are my capabilities. There are so many people who brought amazing things to this world. They were ordinary people, just like you, and like me. They were just focused. They had the base, the ability, and the technique to do so. So before I'll share my way, I would like to ask you 3 questions, and please just raise your hand. First of all, who has annual, monthly, or daily work plan here in the room? Okay. Which of you know what exactly your goal for today? It's because this is a conference day. And which one of you know when your next vacation is going to be? You see, you should see the people. This is what I'm calling prioritize. And the only thing is, it's because when we have a goal, we probably will achieve it. You know why? Or first of all, you know what is it, a goal? The goal is where I choose to be, personally or professionally, because the clearer the goal, the more palpable and truth it is. That's why it's much more achievable. Does anyone here know how to blaze the trail to reach his destination? When we know where we want to go, we will know how to draw the path to our destination. But you know what? The problem is that most of us doesn't really know where we want to go. What is our destination? That's why we don't know where or how to draw the path. Why exactly is that going to be? Lots of reasons. You know what? Lack of interest, lack of focus, external and internal disorder. No recognition at work. You know, we are testing. It's not really the most thing that familiar with the high tech. But I like to start and expand those factors. But first, I would like to say something about our advanced technological age that we are living in. Did you think about it? That we are living in an advanced technological age, that with a push of button, we can order everything. Everything became so much easier. Like we can order food, household goods, everything became so simple. So how come that we are finding ourselves struggling to meet our deadline? How come that we can meet our destination on time? Sorry. What else do we need to do to get more time? Sorry? Yeah, that's right. I'm going to take you back to the history, because our development has started years ago. A genius invention. Until a few thousand years ago, we were governed by season, by day and night, by star, by sun, until the clock came in, and we all fell in a line. We were studied and we were taught lots of things till then. They taught us math, they taught us chemistry, biology, lots of things that we were taught. But they didn't taught us how to manage our time, because there is no such reality of time management. I don't know anyone who could manage to stop the time. But they didn't taught us how to manage within the space of the time. You know, we can stop the time, but we can leverage technique to use it and to do it. And the reason are many. I'll start with the procrastination. So actually, we all have a lot of tasks in our family, in our work. I've got a lot of tasks on my agenda that I need to complete by the end of the day. I've got a lot of tasks on my board, but I'm not planning to complete them today and not tomorrow and not the day after tomorrow. Then we are ending up while multitasking or during the night. The other reason is the interruption. For example, the internet. Do you know that the internet exposes us to a huge variety of information? Okay? Think for a moment. Until a few years ago, we were exposed to up to 30 disorders per day. In the recent year, we are getting disorder more than 250 per day. Our brain can contain such a vast amount of information. Do you remember this? From the history. Have you noticed how much our focus has changed? We used to watch TV. We used to talk on the phone. We used to read a newspaper. We used to be focused on one thing at one time. These days, the distraction came at the rate that we are unable to meet. Think about the post office. How much it took the post office to deliver our mail. Until a few years ago, it took 2 weeks. And now, in a push of button, we can order and we can send a mail and we can do everything, and still we are late. Phone in my home? You should ask my grandmother. Phone in my home? Who could afford such? Radio? Radio was one of the closest interface for a real-time information. Until, you know when? Until 2007, until the smartphone arrived. And we all were excited to put this time-sucking monster into our house. Because this time monster mercilessly sucked every possible of availability time. We became a slave of this device. You know, some of us in the other side of the barricade trying to force the population to become addicted to this device, but we are not going to talk about it because we are also working in high-tech. Another reason is the testorism, and I'm sure that all of you are going to agree with this headline. No recognition at work, less pay, or need for continuous learning. So any solution? What would you say if I would adding an hour, the 25 hour for your day? What would change? Nothing. Nothing. You know why? Like Parkinson used to say, the work expands to fill the time you spend on it. What does that mean? This principle is accurate. You know why? Because the more time you assign for a task, the more time it will take. That principle is correct. So it doesn't matter if I would adding an hour or two to your day, nothing would really change. So maybe we will do it quick. But you know what? Because quickly means less time, and less time means money. We will not spend money on our company, but speed destroys our quality. That's why we need to be aware of that. So maybe we will do multitask. You know this picture, what is it? This is for pilots. You know? How do you say it in Russia? A US base showed that we don't know how to deal. People who multitask failed. Because we as a people, we don't know how to deal with the several tasks at the same time. In fact, only 2% of the population are capable to do so. That's the pilot. They having an exam, you can try it. Try to read something and to listen for a lecture. Only 2% of the population all over the world are capable to do so. So maybe we will use time management app. I'm sure that you try, some of you, at least some of you try that. You know, they had a research in US. They took 50 CEO from a biggest company in United States and asked them, what is your time management application that you are using? 49 managers from 50 said, my notebook. And they correct. You know why? The secret is simple. You need to decide what you prioritize, because everything is laid on them. Let's say that I'm going to event. I'm going to the dessert table. I'm going to decide what I'm going to eat. And I'm the only one who need to deal with the implication of what I'm putting in. Okay? So any other solution? I'm sure you all understand that we need to draw the path. We need to construct the plan. But how can we do that? I'm going to take you back again to the history, because a few thousand years ago, they invented the manuscript. You know what is this, the manuscript? Handwriting. I'm not going to tell you the reason and why is that started, but they invented the manuscript for a simple reason. Our brain creates. Our brain solves. That's why we are producing. That's why we are working in high-tech. Our brain is a bad office. It's a bad memorize. If you need to store some information, guys, enlarge your hard disk. Don't use your memorize. Don't use your brain. In all the research that run around the world, they found out that typing is less effective than handwriting. They took, a few years ago, they took 2 classes and make some research. One class used computer typing for typing the note, and the other class used the handwriting. They had the same lecture and the same course. And you know, the handwriting class was much better than the other class. When you are typing to your computer, we are not doing any process. We are not programming. We are just typing. This class used to type every word that the lecturer said. When we are writing, we are actually activating much more area in our brain. That's why writing is much more effective. I'm not going to tell you don't use technology, because I enjoy using that as much as you do. But my main tool, and you can find it everywhere, is my notebook. You can find it with me in my bag, in my car, in my house, close to my bed. Everywhere I have my notebook. I have a few notebooks. Anyway, I'm writing everything down, but we need to build a plan. So I wrote down a few steps that will take you throughout your plan. And I'll start with concentration, We as a people, we are always thinking about vacation, about our task, about our family, about ID, about everything. We're always thinking, we're always processing, we're always planning. But listen, our brain cannot remember more than 4 things at one time. We are going to lose some task or some ID, and we don't want that. So we need to collect all this information and store it out of our brain. And remember, a forgotten ID may cost you dearly. You don't want to lose that. If you want to ask me where to store it, it doesn't really matter. As long as you are taking this ID and task out of your brain to somewhere, that's good. We will learn what to do with that. Another things that I made a research in a few months ago, about collecting everything, all the information, and save it into our brain means that we are going to deal with this information during the day, or even worse, during the night. And you know what? During the day, it will cause us not to stay focused. And during the night, I know some people who couldn't sleep during the night because they are thinking a lot, because they didn't took all these tasks out of the brain. So we wrote everything out of our brain to a paper, to a notebook. I recommended you 1 in 2 or 3 days to go through your list, because after 1 or 2 or 3 days, we will realize that some tasks became irrelevant, or some tasks became, or some idea became less urgent, or maybe we can break it down. That's why we are usually need to go through our list. And please, I don't want to hear any excuses. I didn't make it. I didn't think about building a table. We have to build the plan, because this is the best way to ensure that we are going to implement this task. As I said before, we are people. We are usually thinking. We are usually processing. We can run away from that. We are people. We are not machine. The difference lays in one thing. How did I make my plan and the way it was constructed? So the second step of building is to write, collecting, and start building my plan. Is there anyone in this room that's still thinking, why do we need to build a plan? Please tell me, how do you go across this maze without a plan? Or let me give you, do you know, all of you are tester, yeah? You know what is it, traceability table? Okay. So let's try to build a traceability table for office suits. Okay, so, sorry. Take 1 minute. Do you all guys have paper and a pen? Take 1 minute. I'm looking on my watch. Take 1 minute and think how you're gonna build your traceability table for office suit. Okay. 1 minute's gone. Who wants to tell me just the name of the office suit that he started to build the traceability table with her? Office suite means Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher, and more. So let me help you with that. And I'm sure that you all are going to agree with me. When I'm starting to build my traceability office, I'm starting for the top and going inside. I will start with the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the list is longer than those 3 that are familiar with us, or familiar with most of the population. But if we're going to start building that, maybe I will start with the top, Word, Excel, Publisher, PowerPoint, and more. And maybe you, if it's okay, will start only with Word and going inside, deep resolution like Word, File New, Open, Save, etc. So if we're going to write this traceability table separate, I'm sure that many of you forgotten some application, or many of you had a great way for this information, but we build it in a different way from the other friends of us, okay? How many of you have managed to see the path without outline to this trail? That's why we need to write everything and to put it on a paper, on a notebook. It doesn't matter. You know what? There are 2 reasons that I am using my paper. The first one, what goes for my head, my brain, outside to a page can be easily accessed. I can change it, unlike things saved on computer. The other thing is that we are, as a people, we are very visual. Okay? And this is a visual element that helped me to organize the information. That's why we need to write it down on a paper. So basically, my checklist look like that. I'm having my chalkboard or any other board. I'm having my goals for my day, for my task, and I'm having my sticky note in a different color. And you know why in a different color? Because color is another visual element that's helping us to respond. I'm sure that you are all working with dashboard, with graph. You're running a test and you're using fail and pass. Graph with color, fail and pass in green and red. So, when I'm planning my daily, I'm starting with my daily goal for each day, and I have lots of small tasks. When I'm starting to perform my daily, I'm starting with a permanent task, like 20 minutes every morning for social media, or 30 minutes to handle my defects. Then I'm starting with my daily goal, and only then I'm continue with the rest. And I'm saving a small hole for those buffer. I'm sure that you're all familiar with the intermediate situation, like waiting for a friends for lunchtime or waiting for a participant to come to a meeting. So I'm saving a small hole for the small task because every minute costs me a lot. Another important thing is completing a task. Now listen to this. When a task is completed, our brains are created, a hormone, named endorphin, are secreted by our brain. This hormone that's secreted by our brain causes a feeling of a joy. So if we will start with a small task of a low importance, very few endorphin will be secreted into our brain. But if we complete a big and important task, a lot of endorphin will get into our brain, and we can start our engine for the rest of the day. You know what it causes us? It will make you feel happy. It will make you feel much more excited. Your self-esteem will grow, and you will be much more motivated to do more and more things during the day. That's why this principle is very, very important. For success, completing the task. This is one of my grandfather used to say, when you wake up in the morning, start organizing your bed. You will feel much more motivated to do another things because you complete something. And this is very psychology, but this is true. So actually, I've got this page every week. And in this page, I'm putting my daily task for my week. And my task for my week, my daily, it depends on my week. It could be 5 days or 7 days. In this daily, I know every day what I'm doing, and every week I know what I'll do and how I'm going to do that. That plan actually take me through my plan and to reach my destination. This is the short way to see how I'm gonna do it. I'm usually planning my weekly every Friday morning. Every day, I'm waking up in the morning, very early in the morning, and starting to prioritize my task, but we are going to talk about prioritize in a few seconds. My monthly gave me the insight of how my month will look like. Where are my breaks? Where can I take important tasks? Where can I give up on something if I have any holes? You know, I'm sure that you all, apropos using Kanban, you know Kanban, so this is one of the best way to perform that. So actually, in conclusion, every day I know what my goals and what my daily task. At the end of the week, I'm planning my next week. And at the end of the month, I know how my next month will look like. If I have some place to put another task or I need to give up. Because the clock, guys, is ticking. And if we don't know how to manage our time, we won't be able to manage others. So I mentioned prioritize, because this is one of the most important things that we need to know. How to prioritize, what is this urgent and important, what is this effective and effectively. Usually, as a people, we are prioritize things based on our situation. But as far as we must, starting with the big rocks. If you know the story, that's great. If you don't, I've attached the link to this story, and you should start with the big rock. When we're talking about effective and effectively, that means, by saying effective, that doing the right things. And effectively means doing things correctly. So that means that we need to understand what exactly we're going to do. And please, before I give you some example, be careful from the biggest enemy. You know, perfection and excellent, because the biggest enemy of excellent is perfection. For example, we don't need to run all the test cases. It's excellent to choose the most important. Okay? Let me quote Warren Buffett and Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl used to say, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any hour." You know what he was talking about? He used to talk about change. This is a change. We need to change our state of mind. We need to change the way that we are acting with our task. No one likes change, except babies with a diaper that need to change. Warren Buffett used to say, "You will not have to do many things in your life. If you do what you do right, then what you do will bring you success as much faster." So actually, important task is a task that advances us toward our destination, our goal. And urgent task is a task that required immediately attention. So when I'm building my metrics of prioritize, I'm actually based on two axes, important and urgent, because our tendency is to prioritize through the urgent of the task or according to their entry, and this is a mistake. So when you are starting to prioritize your task, please follow this factor. They are the best factor when I'm starting to deal with my task. I'm asking myself, is this task important or promoting me important to my organization? Is it a long-term investment? Is it critical for the central purpose? Are we going to take any risk by delaying the execution of this? So we were talking about lists. We wrote a lot of tasks in our list, but can we perform everything? So we talk about prioritize, because we need to choose some of them. We talked about effective and effectively. We talked about prioritizing stuff. But you know what? Guys, our life are dynamic. It's not black and white. I'm writing a plan. But our life dynamic, that means that we need to change our direction through what's going around us. That's the most important things. Another thing is delegate. You know what does that mean? Delegate. Learn to delegate. Teach yourself the importance of assignment. Yes, you need to take responsibility for everything, but don't try to execute everything by your own. If there is a task that you can delegate to someone else and only follow up, do it. If there is any task that someone else can take, but by the time it makes sense to you financially and you can give it to him, do it. Don't hesitate to delegate. Avoid this situation. This situation is good for vacation. You know what does that mean? This kind of task is not going to promote you to complete a task. That's the most reason why people failed in time management, procrastination. Clearing our mind. Clearing your mind means take a small task, like social media. We are so interesting, what's going on in the Facebook. 20 minutes in the morning, that's it. 30 minutes, that's it. Clear your mind. Start your day with the most important things, my daily goal. And the smart things is to choose the big rock, and not just the big rock, the diamond. This is a wise choice. So you need to sit on the chair, and you need to concentrate. And, and you need to concentrate, and you need to complete your task without any distraction. Did you know that it took 17 minutes to refocus from distraction? 17 minutes, that's a lot. So when you are sitting down and you try to concentrate, turn off your mobile, turn off your social media. Avoid that. Because a small task, coming always. Always. We can't expect them. That's why I'm having a small sticky notes always with me. So I'm throwing all the small tasks at interval. And in between the cycle, I'm performing them. You know, a police report said, the characteristic of distraction is fun to be next to them, but they don't advance our goal. Okay? They come as a client, as supplier, as visitor, as company, as a neighbor that just knocked on my door. Early detection may significantly advance the task in the company, and therefore it is important to locate and treat them ASAP. This is a distraction. And when we are talking about distraction, we are talking about external and internal, like people, technology, procrastination, concentration, lots. You know the little voice in our brain that says, isn't it a shame to do it? You're perfect. Or the other voice that will tell you, don't postpone anything for tomorrow if you can postpone it to the day after tomorrow. You know this little voice? Okay, so don't postpone. Do it right now, because the distraction came always, and we cannot predict them. They can come as unexpected mobile phone, unexpected meeting, unplanned meeting, or unexpected guests. You don't want to look with this face in the morning while you're remembering that, or realize that you need to complete any task by the end of the day. Oh my God, I need to finish that, and I didn't even start. That's why I'm writing everything down. That's why I'm logging everything and prepare my reminder for every task. Nothing stays in my brain. I'm not going to enlarge my brain. I'm going to enlarge my artist. That's why I'm doing everything on this way. So, if you've done everything as we spoke till now, you will have a great view of your time, of your plane. Like, you will know where are your break. You will know where I can put another task. Where did I make any mistakes, or will I meet my target? This is a great way to get a great overview. So actually, I've got my daily, my weekly, my monthly plan. But I can't do everything. As I said before, life is not black and white. We can plan everything, but this is only the base. We are moving through this base. We need to update everything according to what's happening around us. This is life. This is the real life. But we need a basis. And this plan is our basis. The last element that I'm going to talk about to success this plan is this kind of office. We can work in such an office, okay? You know, it causes us a headache. Try to work in this office. I can't. And you know what's funny? People, for some reason, I don't know why, people finding time to looking for something they are missing, but they don't have enough time to get organized. You can save 10 minutes for looking for something if you are just investing 1 minute to get organized all your things. So I wrote down a few tips for you of a time management. And then I'll tell you how I am doing this. Plan each day, every day, collecting all the information to a paper. Prioritize, this is one of the important things to do. Scheduling, put a deadline to your task, for every task. Map and minimize, time thieves. Leave time window, small hole, for emergency. And stick to your program. The last things for a tester is learn to say no to illogical tasks, okay? And for summary, having a plan allows us to have control, to be much more relaxed and more focused. Plan your day each separately, write down your task, prioritize, map, and minimize. Leave a time for emergency, stick to the program, and learn to say no. How am I doing that? My rule to stick that plan are 5. The first one is setting my goal. I'm writing everything and I'm having a daily goal. I'm documenting everything and I'm prioritizing them. The second thing is that don't forget to be focused. So when I'm planning time for everything, for play, for reading, for watching TV, for reading the newspaper, I'm focusing on one thing at one time. But still, I'm flexible because my life are not black and white like all of you. Keep the time set while keeping order, organize and order. Don't attempt to do all the small tasks. If you will start with the small task and continue with the small task, they could be like a time thieves. They will ending your day. And the last one is delegation of power. If you can delegate some tasks to anyone, don't hesitate to do so. Now, before I finish my lecture, I would like to ask you a few questions. What habit of your thieves' time do you want to give up? Now this is your decision and your choice. What is the first little step that can reduce the time of these habits has dropped from you? And the last one is, when do you undertaking to do so? Remember, the future is not starting tomorrow. The future begins today. Thank you.
Questions, yes.
I have several questions. At first, how can you remove procrastination? It's always sometimes want to procrastinate.
Здесь на столе лежат небольшие памятки о том, как управлять своим временем, поэтому каждый слушатель может подойти и забрать свою памятку.
And second question, how many time you live for risks? It's everything work good with task for which you can know how many time it took, but some task you don't know.
There are tasks that I don't know that they are bigger, that I don't know how many times I need to, how many times it's going to perform them. I'm just breaking them down. like a big project. That's what project manager, I used to be project manager, that's what they are doing. They are breaking for a small task. That's making it easier to give it a time. And sorry, I didn't hear the first question.
How to remove procrastination from life? It's always want to take some joy.
It's very simple. You know why? Because this is your choice, and this is what I'm choosing to do with my life. This is my decision. This is only to start taking a decision, like a person who would like to stop smoking. Okay.